All right, here we go. Let's start fighting. What is it about women's sports that generates so much right-wing rage? Like, it's almost like, it's like Pavlov's dog type stuff. It seems like every time there's a high-profile women's sporting event, it becomes a lightning rod for a lot of rage, in particular, right-wing rage. I do know what kind of blowback I'm going to get. But before, let me just set it up. I'm not going to tell you what to think. I'm just going to try to make you think. But before you rage at me, be able to answer this. Okay? And answer it clearly. Just be able to clearly answer this. Why it is that you think people working for you, paid by you, need to spend your time and your money legislating things like what I'm about to talk about. Just, I want you to be able to make sense of not how you feel. I'm not asking how you feel. I'm asking why you support using public office, the office for you. I know we look at politics differently now. It's royalty of some kind, instead of looking at them as if they work for you. So now maybe it's a big ask here. But please, before you rage at me, I'm not questioning how you feel. It's why it is you think public office should be used for stuff like this. I'll take it even further if you really want to flip out at me. Make sense of why it is an 18-year-old lunatic can buy an AR-15, but you want to legislate stuff like this, what I'm about to talk about? Really? This is what you want laws for? Better? You need lawmakers for this? Make sense of it. Go ahead. Now, I know how you're going to respond. I do. The fact that voters, mostly in red states, but not exclusively, vote on issues like this, it makes my head explode. Not Ukraine, not traffic options, not highways, not schools, not taxes, but completely irrelevant, completely taxpayer-financed, irrelevant issues like this. It's pathetic and disturbing. Let's see. I'll set it up even further. You know what you have total control over, voters, everyone? You have total control over anything, a lot of stuff we don't have control over. But I know we have total control over these two things. Okay? We have total control over what we eat and drink. Total control. Don't whine about it. Don't complain about it. You're in total control. You're also in total control of what it is you watch and listen to. It's really easy. You're in total control. You don't like it. You don't like what you're eating. You don't like what you're seeing or reading. You are in total control. You can handle it. Instead, you're begging some maggot politician to come in and bail you out. That's pathetic. It's lazy and pathetic. But these things, what you eat and drink and what you watch and listen to, they're amazingly simple to control, aren't they? You can move along. It's really easy. I knew this reaction was coming. I knew it. I saw the tweets early in the morning, and I thought, oh, I know how this works. I know how this is going to play out. And sure enough, I first saw the incorrect right-wing rage. It was a tweet accusing the LSU women's basketball coach, Kim Mulkey, who is a lightning rod herself for all the right and wrong reasons. But the tweet, I remember I saw it, I go, here it comes. Here comes the fake rage over stupid issues like this. The tweet was accusing LSU women's basketball coach Kim Mulkey of removing her team from the floor. In fact, I believe the tweet said they ran off the floor. Yeah, they did. They jog in for the national anthem. No, I thought, oh, here, yep, it's on now. It's on. I knew the idiot fuse had been lit. That's what it is. It's an idiot fuse. Okay? Politicians react and follow rage. That's the way it works, right? We don't do anything of intellect anymore. It's just about feelings and rage. And so, sure enough, you get enough rage going, even though it's incorrect, it's not true, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters but legislating to make you feel like someone's doing something for you. So the politicians react and follow the rage. So the rage had to start. The idiot fuse was lit. It was wrong, but doesn't matter. And sure enough, there is legislation that will follow the rage. That's the way politics today work. That's how dumb we are. I'm sorry if everyone's offended by this. If you're not bothered by stuff like this, that's a you problem. I said legislating. I didn't say your feelings. So it's legislation to make you feel better, even though, remember, food and drink and media is completely in your control. The Iowa-LSU women's basketball game drew 12.3 million viewers. It peaked at 16 million. It became ESPN's second highest draw for a basketball game of any type, since 2012. So I suspect, yes, people were tuning in because it was an event. People were tuning in, yes, because of Caitlin Clark. Yes, because of Kim Mulkey. Yes, because of last year's controversy. It has, these melting pots. But I assume a lot of people tune in just because you want to get pissed off. That's why you're tuning in. And you got it. You found it. You go there looking for something. Guess what? You found it. It wasn't true, but you found it. And here come the lawmakers because they follow rage. Instead of being in control and saying, screw this, I don't want to watch. Nope, you had to rage. So here they are. The rage started predictably when an incorrect tweet, okay, that doesn't seem to matter anymore at all, was that LSU coach Kim Mulkey pulled her team from the floor before the game to protest the national anthem. Is that what happened, Jeff? No, that's not what happened at all. But they're never out. As she answered after the fact, they never are out for the national anthem. She said she didn't even know when it was played. And by the way, the game that was after that, none of those teams were out for the national anthem either. I've yet to hear about them in pending legislation, because that's where this is going to go. It's not going to go from how you feel about the national anthem before a sporting event. Entertainment. Not dropping bombs in Kabul, it's entertainment. But legislation. So the tweet comes out. The tweet's not accurate. People responded, but it doesn't matter. If somebody in office hears their audience raging, they sort of seize the day. It's almost like they have somebody out with binoculars, like rage binoculars, just waiting for the freak out so you can then come running in and put some legislation in there. Even though it's irrelevant legislation, and even though it's pathetic, you just wait for the rage and respond to it to make some laws. Because you need more laws, everyone. Because you can't turn that TV off yourself. All right, so Yahoo reports the pregame logistics of LSU's Elite Eight loss to Iowa have turned into controversy that reached the governor's mansion. Of course. There's no point to it, but the rage. So you govern on rage. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry posted a tweet after LSU's 94-87 loss to Iowa, calling for the Louisiana Board of Regents to create a policy mandating that student athletes be present for a pregame national anthem or lose their scholarships. Well, that's, you know what? Forget Ukraine. This is the stuff that should matter to you taxpayers. You proud of this? Because I know some knucklehead somewhere, and I'm calling you a knucklehead, saying, right on, man. This is great, Jeff. What are you talking about? You need this? You need this, taxpayers. Several conservative commentators had spent the previous several hours, because, again, politicians follow rage. They don't lead it, they just follow it. It says several conservative commentators had spent the previous several hours criticizing LSU's players and coaches for not being on the court when the national anthem was played ahead of the Elite Eight in Albany, New York. Here's what the governor of Louisiana, and the only person more angry than me about this stuff is the governor of Texas, because he'd love to be able to do this. Oh, that's right. We already did pass a law like this. Of course. Here's what the Winston Churchill of Louisiana, because, I don't know if you knew this, things are going really well in Louisiana. Things are going great there. This is what you need a law for. He says in his tweet, it's time that all college boards, including the regents, put a policy in place that student athletes be present for the national anthem or risk losing their athletic scholarship! ! This is a matter of respect that all collegiate coaches should instill. Okay, so what's the truth here? Not that it matters. Now, that screaming is, of course, from the state of Texas, because they'd love to be doing something like this, because this gets you reelected. Not that you run a risk of not getting reelected anyway, but you got to look for chum in the water like this, stupid stuff like this. I didn't say your feelings. I said legislation. It's meaningless interference. But this is what generates votes. It's meaningless. We are the nanny state, sort of the leading nanny state around the country. We come up with stuff all the time. We'll micromanage you every chance we get. And so your political heroes in the state of Texas did something similar to this. I guess it was in 2001 or 2. That was SB 4. That should save you. This should really make a big difference, too. SB 4 was a law passed here in Texas that mandated that stadiums and arenas that receive any public funding have to play the national anthem or face fines. I have no idea if it's implemented. I have no idea where it's gone. I have no idea. But just to show you that this is the kind of stuff that people like. So Yahoo went on to report about this, that it says LSU's players not being on the court wasn't part of any protests. As LSU coach Kim Mulkey explained after the game, the coach of the defending champions told reporters the team was following its usual pregame routine. She says, quote, honestly, I don't even know when the anthem was played. We have this routine where we're on the floor and then we come off at the 12-minute mark. We come in and we do our pregame stuff. I'm sorry, but listen, there's nothing intentionally done. We're never out there. Oh, liar. They ran off. I saw the tweet. They were running the protests. Teams not being on the court, Yahoo reports, not that it matters. Teams not being on a court during the national anthem is actually not rare across college athletics. An LSU spokesperson pointed out in a statement that both the men's and women's basketball teams have stayed in the locker room during the national anthem for a long time. Well, can we retroactively take away their scholarships? Maybe that'd be a good idea. In other words, the governor's paid so much attention to this pressing issue of the players not being out for the national anthem. Somehow, some way, he hadn't noticed every other game for the past few years when they weren't out there, either the men or women. But all of a sudden now, once you get a rage tweet, you make a law. Somebody should call them out. Go ahead. Take all their scholarships away. Do it. Do it. Go right ahead. You go right ahead. I know what people are going to say. Well, what's so bad about making players and coaches stand? Answer, mine, maybe just not yours. Making laws about this stuff is awful. Your feelings about it are not awful. If you want to stand and salute, do so. But why do you want elected officials supposedly working for you who apparently don't really follow their own guidance? Because this guy just now snapped to the idea that this out-of-control LSU women's basketball team wasn't standing. Never mind, they'd been doing it for years. Never mind, the men's team hadn't done it for years, and probably most other sports teams haven't done it in college sports. But all of a sudden, he's mad because some knucklehead tweeted it out. Incorrectly, of course. Why do you want elected officials here? Why? Answer it. Why? Why do you want elected officials attempting to legislate anything like this? Entertainment, by the way, taxpayers, just entertainment. I'm afraid to even ask the question because I know if there was enough rage, the right kind of rage, there's no telling how far it would go. But exactly how far would you like to take stuff like this, taxpayers? I mean, we've missed out all season. In fact, I believe we've missed out on this national anthem for the men's and women's teams at LSU, and probably most others for that matter, for a few years. So how far would you like to take this? You want to Maybe forfeit wins, take all scholarships away. I mean, suspend them. What would you like to do? Put them in shackles? What do you need your lawmakers to do about entertainment? Apparently, this is not bothering some other states. For some reason, it's only in these red states that they're freaking out about this. Other schools and other teams haven't been out there at all. They're not even out there. And you're now saying you want to legislate and mandate that they're there, or else. All right, 512-834-1027 on Twitter. I know what it's going to look like and sound like. That's cool. At Jeff Ward Show.